Two. Second to have y'all's. Oh, okay, and then I'm gonna record it here. So, all right, guys. So today, of course, I'm excited, like always, about class. So today we're going to be talking about everything being mental. Basically, and I'm going to pull it up right here. Okay. So everything being mental. And and this comes from the Hermetic principle, the very first one, that everything is mental. It comes from universal laws. So we're going to tie that in today. And it also comes from the Bible. So pretty much everything I've ever studied, even other religions, what I felt was pretty valuable out of every single one, I've always found it all in the Bible. So I think the Bible is a great book and one of the greatest books out there, and if not the greatest. And then, but I like to bring in different ways that other people have talked about it, like the Hermetic principles, universal laws, because sometimes it's just hearing it a different way that can help you understand the principle better. So I'm going to put this in here really quick. Okay. Oh, I don't know why this isn't opening. All right. So first, what I'd like to do is just do a short meditation to get ourselves grounded. So if you're in a place that you can do this, go ahead and close your eyes. Put your feet flat on the ground, and your arms, your hands, you can put them on your thighs, either hands up or hands down. It does not matter. And then inhale through your nose. We're just going to hold it and then exhale out your mouth. Hold it. Inhale. Hold. Exhale out your mouth. Hold. Inhale through your nose. And hold. Exhale out your mouth. And hold. Just breathe normally. And exhale. And whenever you're ready, just open your eyes. So today we're talking about the first Hermetic principle, mentalism. And what it basically says is the all is mind, the universe is mental. And this means everything starts in the mind. And this goes along with all the teachings all of the classes we've been talking about up to this point. Every invention, every action, every creation, it all begins as a thought first. And we talked about this with the map of consciousness, how you'll have your emotions that after they've been consciously processed turn into feelings, but where these all stem from initially is a thought, whether it's conscious or subconscious. It's a thought that creates that dropping of the hormone into the bloodstream, that creates that emotion, which is all physiological, and then the feeling, which is more process consciously. And that's what creates your frequency. Basically, is like what are you constantly in that thought loop of feeling, which what feeling does your thought loop create, basically is what your frequency is. And that's what level of life you're going to have access to see. I think like recently this Charlie Kirk death has revealed a lot of stuff about our state of being as a nation and how some people can be mad at what they would consider somebody being hateful, and their way of looking is also hateful. Um, or their lack of empathy while they're talking about someone else lacking empathy. The projection is very blatant for anyone on the outside watching this. And it's coming from the mind. Where are they at? They are coming from a victim mindset, thinking that somebody outside of them has that much control of their lives. That and somebody who didn't have anybody imprisoned, somebody who hadn't killed anyone, hadn't even raised an army, somehow was so responsible because he debated at college campuses, which is outrageous to me, in my own opinion of it. But it's just to see somebody saying, this guy's hateful, so it gives me the right to be hateful back. Well, that's never ending the cycle. That's being a part of the problem. And this is also why it's very important the way we think, because when you're at that level where you honestly do not see your own awareness and how you're playing a part of the problem, you're going to always just be a part of the problem, and you're going to be pointing fingers. The moment you're pointing a finger, you're blaming. And where are we at on the map of consciousness when we're blaming? We're like at the bottom level. So it's like very low vibration. And there's a lot of that going on from certain people. And then certain people are showing empathy, showing care. And this is about, where are these people at? How are they able to see this person that other people see in a beautiful light? How are other people seeing it in such an awful light? Well, it's because their frequency. Where are they tuned in at? There's what their eyes are open to. And when you've been a victim or victimized and you decided to stay in that space, that frequency, you're going to see everything in an ugly lens. You're going to like find some fault in everything. And so you're going to think it's everything else, but look inside. The chaos starts here. The hate starts here. Yeah, well, here, and it comes here, and then it comes out. And it comes together. It's like, that toroidal field going on. And so think about a house before it was wood and stone, and it was an idea in somebody's mind. Everything was always started as an idea in someone's mind. So this is why everything is mental. So it's how you decide to think about it that you're going to see the world. And this is also what's going to create. So how we think is so, so important. It really does create everything. Like we were talking about, the nervous system is the transmitter and the receiver. Basically, how you feel on the inside, you're transmitting out that and you're getting it back. So it's like this loop of coming in and out of, like, it's really just showing you more of where you are. If the world looks ugly, maybe you have an ugly thought about it. Like maybe there's an ugly thought that's being projected out. And instead of blaming that thing that you're seeing that looks so ugly, be like, well, what is it inside of me? And this is an example, like if you are in a bad relationship, or if you have a bad relationship with a particular person, what are they showing you? And when I say that, like, if they're like, if you're like, man, they're always disrespectful to me, they don't listen to me, I feel like I can set boundaries and they don't respect it, like, and you're saying all of this, okay, well, if somebody's disrespecting your boundaries, it's actually you disrespecting your boundaries, because you're the one that upholds those. You can't control people. So to impose your boundaries on other people to change their behavior is not really you setting boundaries. That's you hoping that with making a statement, it will change somebody's behavior. And if it doesn't, you want to get upset. Well, that's a control thing going on. That's not a boundary issue. So it's like, can you let people be who they are, and then accept them for who they are? And then you get to decide, do you want that around you? And if you don't, then you have to make the plan. You have to take the action to let that go. So it's like if they're disrespecting your boundaries, it's usually a sign that maybe you're not respecting your boundaries. Or if you don't feel like they're respecting you, are you embodying that place for them to respect? Like, are you even respecting yourself? Because if somebody's disrespecting you, like the moment it starts, it shouldn't go for much longer. And then you exit. So if it's still being a problem, it's coming from you because what you're allowing, what you're thinking, maybe you feel like you need to prove yourself to someone or something, so that'll start happening. And this is not a space of blaming you or blaming yourself or any of that. There's the blame, there's responsibility, and there's accountability. This is just taking responsibility of where you are and then being accountable so that you know how to change it. So you have that self-awareness and bring that power back instead of giving it away and complaining, because that's a sign that you're giving your power away. So when we're complaining about the outside world, anything, it's really coming from in. So there's some um the universe itself, as above, so below, as within, so without, the law of correspondence that we talked about last time. Well, the universe itself is like a great mind. And because we are made in God's image, our thoughts carry a creative power too. So it's everything as above, so below. And it's depending on how you choose to think, on how you're going to see the world. And this isn't always, I'm about to go into some quotes from the Bible and some universal laws and how this is connected. But let's say that, and I'd like to talk next week more about this in depth. But let's say that you actually suffer from depression and it runs in your family, and you can do all of this stuff, and then all of a sudden your hormones hit and you're in that depressive state. Nothing had to make it happen. You could have everything going on great, and all of a sudden you're just depressed. And this is something that's like been going on in your family for years or decade or generations. Well, you could be like, I'm trying so hard. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And you know what starts happening? You start thinking you're doing something wrong. And then it's going to start showing out where you're doing something wrong. That's how quick the thoughts change and how quick your frequency can change. Is just by, for 1 second, believing that what you're seeing is is the only thing that you have control over, and thinking, oh no, now you got to respond to the world or react to the world around you. And it's so quick. So you have to be very careful and constantly be aware of your thoughts, be conscious, be mindful, present, so that you're not stuck in the past or thinking of the future or worried about something that hasn't even happened. It's more like, what is happening right now? And how can I think about this to get more of what I want? Because it's my thoughts, and they can go crazy at times. They can have that negative thought loop. It's a drunken monkey, and you should be the master of it. Let that TV guide scroll, because thoughts to me is like a TV guide, and you don't have to pick every channel. You don't even have to pick the channel that you're thinking about at the moment. You can just choose to pick a different one. And so, and I know that sounds easy, but it's not, especially when you're going through certain emotions and certain feelings, because that's whenever you can recognize the error in your thinking. And then you're like, wait, hold up. This is not feeling good. I'm not seeing truth for what it is, because truth feels good. Now when I say truth feels good, now you could get you can hear some truth that hurts. Okay. But when you have the truth, you're able to actually make the decisions that are best for you. And there's nothing hidden there. So it may first upset you, but it will set you free. And it feels freeing. It feels, but it could have other feelings that go with it, of course, but we'll go in more depth about that at another time. But yeah, so whenever you're going through like a depression, which we'll talk about this next week on how to really set this up, because it sounds great when you talk about this in theory, but how do you actually put this in real life? When things are not going that great. So I'm going to just check to make sure you guys aren't asking any questions, because I'm not seeing the chat box right now. Okay. Yeah, so, and if y'all ask a question and I'm just like continuously talking, you can feel free to interrupt me. Okay. So in the Bible, so Bible connections and universal law, the Bible says the same thing in many ways about the Hermetic principle of everything being mental. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I know some people are like, but you don't understand who I am. I'm such a loving person, but I'm just really upset or I'm really hurt. Well, you have to understand that's also in your heart. You can love, but the thing is we can have many different feelings, but the thing is we can't have like you can't feel love and hate at the same time. You can feel it back to back to back back to back, but not at the same time. And it's like, well, in that moment, are you shining love? That may be why people can't see it. And saying that you're a certain way doesn't mean you are. If people are seeing you in a certain way and you're not seeing that and you don't understand that, maybe there's some disconnection in your own awareness. And then you can ask people if you love them and you respect their opinion. I would ask somebody, like, if you're not understanding the disconnection, if they could help you see it. Like, what's the disconnection? And it's really interesting how if somebody really loves you and respects you, can be like, well, man, you keep doing this. And it may be something that you didn't even think about, and you're like, oh man, that's true. I do keep doing that. Okay, thank you so much. And that's what's great about us having a support system. And we can talk about another time. If you don't have a support system, how do you work through this? Because at times, as you level up and evolve, you can have bouts in your life that you don't have the same support system. Because as you elevate or evolve or even devolve, you'll lose friends because where you are right now, this is where they are. And so as you go up, there's going to be a different group of friends. Some may come up with you. And then if you go down, then there's going to be a different group of people there. Some may go down with you or may temporarily do that. But ultimately, you have your own setting. Like you're like a cork on a lake. You have your own like thermostat area where you stay. So going back to the Bible verses, there's also Romans 12:2. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's how we get transformed, is changing our perspective, renewing of the mind. We are, if you're still thinking the same way, you're going to keep getting the same thing because everything's mental and you react off or respond off of how you're thinking, which is going to in effect affect your emotions and your feelings and your frequency. So it's a constant, like you're constantly getting this feedback. And it's like to be aware of that so you can do something with it instead of being upset with it. And it's okay if initially you're upset with it. There's nothing wrong with your feelings. It's not the feelings that's wrong. It's a thought. The feelings are just awareness to that thought. So it's like, okay, thank you, because they're a teacher and they're telling you something. Um, so then Philippians 4:8, whatever is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, and admirable, think about such things. Think about those things. So you can have more of that. In Genesis 1, God spoke the world into being. Thought became word, and word became creation. So it started off in the very beginning with a word, which would come from a thought. And universal laws flow from this truth too, like law of attraction, law of vibration. All of them depend on where your mind is focused. All of the universal laws. So the law of attraction is actually the seventh law out of 12 of them, which there are more than 12, but there's main are 12. So it's the seventh one, and the first six before the seventh one, you pretty much need to understand or have an understanding of it so that you really understand law of attraction because it's like they build on each other. And but law of attraction is basically what you think is what you're going to get. What you do is going to have the consequences. There's law of I forgot what it's like law of consequences. And the law of vibration, how you're thinking is going to affect your emotions, going to affect your feelings, going to affect your frequency. your vibration, and that's going to put you in a certain realm of being able to see. Like if you could think of like in every emotion you have, you're only allowed to see certain things of the world around you and of the people around you. And you can only meet the world and the people at the level you're at. And this is true. So if you're in blame, where are you meeting the world? Where are you meeting other people? If you're in anger, where are you meeting the world? Where are you meeting other people? It's like that story of the dog with the mirror that's barking. And then there was a dog that came in and he's smiling. And the smiling one, he's wagging his tail even more. He's just so happy. There's another happy dog in front of him. And then there's another dog that comes in and he's barking. He's mean. And he sees this mean barking dog in front of it. And he just keeps barking. It's this loop because we think we're barking at something else, or we think we're smiling at something else, but it's really just a reflection of us. And it's like you're not going to fix it by getting mad at the mirror or being happy with the mirror. There's nothing fixed if that's the case. But so it's like, where are you meeting the world? Where are you meeting people? And you'll know that because that's where you're meeting yourself. And that's what it's telling you too. That's where you are. And there's nothing to be ashamed of in that. It's the awareness that gives you the power back to do something about it. So mentalism is the root principle behind everything. Everything begins in the mind. So why does this matter? I think it matters a bunch just from saying that anyways. But it's because your thoughts don't just live in your head. What you daydream about, what you think about, they don't just stay in your head. They shape your nervous system, which is the transmitter and the receiver. They shape your emotions. They shape the choices you make. So if you constantly think, I'm not safe, your body goes into fight or flight, then you will attract unsafe people and situations. But if you think, I'm guided and safe, your body relaxes. And I want you to feel into that. Not feeling safe. Like just for a second, I don't want you to feel it for very long. And then release that. Or even think of a time that you had that. And I think everything's good now. You're chill. It's good. You're safe. You're being guided. That relaxing, well, don't you think that just changes your frequency? Don't you think that changes where you meet the world at, where you meet other people at, where you meet your goals, your destiny, your purpose? So this is why you need to be focusing your thoughts and choosing the thoughts, being the master of your thoughts, choosing the ones that work for you. Have you ever had like a bad thought and you thought, yeah, I won't do that. And then you've harbored on it over and over and over. And then all of a sudden you find yourself doing that. Or somebody else may be harboring that thought over and over around you. And you just over time accept it. And then you're dealing with it. I think it's interesting how if you just pay attention to the music you listen to, and then you just pay attention to a few years later, how that's affected you. It's very interesting. So everything is either nourishment or poison. You get to choose what you're bringing into your life, what kind of TV shows you watch, what are you feeding your mind and your heart? Who do you hang out with? What job do you have? All of this does affect the way you think. Eat crap and drink way too much and tell me how that does not affect your feelings and your thoughts. It does. And when you eat like crap, it affects the way you think. Your digestive system and your mind uh, they go together. The gut, the hormones, all of that is very important. So what we bring in, it isn't just food, but everything we bring in affects us. And so you get to decide, like, if you're feeling unsafe, is there anything you can do to make yourself safer? That's first. That's your power. If you can't think of anything, you can pray for it. But if there's nothing else you can do, then just be like, okay, I'm going to let it go and accept this is where I'm at and just do the next step. ask for guidance and get that inspired action. But now you're guided and you're safe, and you start saying those affirmations, and you feel into it as much as you can. Even if you don't believe it right away, just say it. Say it in front of a mirror as much as you can. So with everything I've said so far, do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, in the chat, you were talking about people coming and going.
Hmm.
Is there a void before the next people come in?
Yeah. Yeah, what I've noticed in my life, yes, there's been a little bit of a void between the new and the old. It's almost like my frequency is like still, I don't know, it's staticky in between channels.
Keep going because you're making sense.
Yeah, I feel like when you're staticky in between channels, you're not receiving anything. So like you have to have that clarity and actually be on a channel. So I do think there is a void where you don't have that because you're in the staticky part. That's how it feels to me. But you know what? You just keep going and you'll find the next channel.
Yeah, because I mean, I've changed a lot here recently, but in the last 8 or 9 months, I've had somebody that they're just argumentative. And I've tried to keep them as a friend, and it just is not, it's strange.
Yeah. No, I understand. And sometimes like watching and just not trying to help them or coax them in a way to be a certain way around you, or like I used to like up my energy, be like, come on, let's have fun, let's like, why are you in such a down mood, let's do this, like trying to help people get to a higher level. And then as I got older, I was like, just started watching people instead, just observing and just being me without feeling like I needed to change to help someone else out, and just did what I actually felt like I wanted to do in the moment and let them do what they wanted to do in the moment. I was able to watch and I'm like, I don't really like this person. I don't enjoy my time with them.
Well, yeah. And then they have a real hard time understanding that you can love somebody but not agree with them.
Yeah.
They feel like you have to agree with them to be loved by them.
Oh wow, yeah. No, I've been there too. I understand. That has nothing to do with love. That has everything to do with insecurity and feeling like that the people around you is like actually an extension of you, so that if they don't agree with you, there's like an instant disconnection because y'all should be the same person in a way. Like they don't give that space for you to be you, and not just an extension of them.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, this person's a fixer.
Yeah. And the problem with that, having been there myself, fixers are toxic too.
Oh, yeah,
They're toxic because they think they know the right way to do it.
yeah.
So you just don't know it yet, but they know, and they're going to make sure that you figure it out later, and that's not healthy because then you're not really accepting people where they are, and then you're not even loving them. You're trying to get some kind of validation through fixing people that you are the savior, you are the rescuer, you are the better person, you're a good person, all this stuff from having that space. And it's like when you get over that and it's not about your ego anymore, you can just accept them, then you don't even have to take it personally what they have to say. Like somebody can be like, "Oh, I don't like that dress on you," and you love it on you. So what? Still wear the dress. Like that's that's on you. you know, um, like we gotta be respectful of our own opinions and thoughts and not just expect everyone else to be. So like some of these people, they get the validation, and if you don't respect or think the same way they do, then somehow it's like you don't accept them. You don't love them if you don't think like they do. Like, and there could be so many ways they think of this, but I've seen some people that I'm just like, oh wow, that can really go bad really fast, that kind of thought. And it's just like, what's your thought? Are you trying to look at people like I'm better than you, so here I am, or are you trying to meet people where they are and really actually want to help them? Because the only way to really help anyone is just by loving them. And if you're not feeling loved by them, I would probably say something to them. I'd be like, the only way to really help me is love me.
Oh, well, the problem is every time we've had that conversation, it just goes bad, bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why do you feel a need to keep them in your life?
Well, we have been separating. Uh,
Okay.
it's we've been separating. It's awkward at this point.
Yeah.
So,
It, sometimes we can become codependent on people and it's harder to
oh,
let them go.
at one time we were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. And but when you get clear on what you really want, you can start seeing how some things are distractions. Or standing.
Yeah. Yeah. Once I got clear on a couple things with this person, yeah, that's exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can let them go with love because it's not even like you don't even have to hate them. You can be like, I can just tell we're not the right fit, and if I'm not the right fit for you, then there's somebody that's better. And if you're not the right for me, there's somebody that's better. That means we're just standing in both of our ways. We're hurting each other, trying to hold on to something that we already know isn't working. So it's like you can just with a emotional maturity be able to be like, hey, I let you go with love and I hope you find the best, because without hoping they find the best, then you're not hoping you find the best either. And it also comes from a place of scarcity sometimes. I'm not saying this about you, Ryan, but in relationships people won't want to let go because they
Oh,
do
yeah.
have others out there and they feel like, what if this other person finds their right match and I'm alone forever? And then I feel like find out it was me that was the problem because I didn't find that relationship and they did. That's never the case, anyways. Like, one's right and one's wrong because one found a relationship, one didn't. Usually it's the toxic one that'll find one first, anyways. But uh
Well,
and they can stay in a relationship for a long time too, some of these people. But and that still doesn't determine whether or not they're healthy. But the more the codependent they are, the longer the relationships tend to last. But it's like looking at them like there's plenty of people out there, and I can only find my person if I make that space for them. And getting that place of I want my person. I already know where this takes me. I want my real person. I want the person made for me. The one that doesn't give up, the one that every time we have an argument actually wants to talk and understand where I'm coming from, not immediately put me in in some kind of situation that's not the truth, or a one where you don't feel like you're in it together, that you're separate, trying to fight each other because you don't have that real intimacy and connection. It's like, no, I want that intimacy. I want that communication. I want that trust. I want that respect. And if I keep settling for anything less, I don't make room for that. And I got to make that room. If we could see it energetically, that the thing that we're waiting on is just waiting on us the whole time. It's just waiting and looking at you. And you're like holding onto this other thing and it's just waiting. It's like, well, once you let go, I can come in, but you're not letting go. So I may be here forever, but I'm here. And it's like we would let go of the things not meant for us. We'd be like, what am I doing? And we'd see the whole thing. But our emotions get in the way, our programming, our fears, scarcity, all this stuff that comes up in us. And sometimes, we don't want to admit maybe we're fearful, or I'm not scared to be alone. I've been alone in this relationship my entire life, or I've been alone my entire life, or this relationship I didn't feel like I had anyone. Okay, then why did you stay in it? Or have you been abandoning yourself if you're okay doing that? Like you're abandoning yourself and everything that you want. So it's like acknowledging your own, how you're doing this to yourself. But yeah, there's a void, and you have to be okay with that void because the void is the space. You're changing stations, but if you could see that at each station you get a certain thing, and this other station has everything you want, and while you're tuning through it, you have to disconnect from this other station first. So it's like, okay, now I'm tuning, this noise. Now you're going to the new station. That old station is not in there at all, anywhere. And it has to be gone. You can't go between the stations and think that you're going to have the good station. Like it just doesn't work that way. It's like you're going to be in that state of confusion or but that void is kind of like what allows that space so that other thing is going, this new thing can arrive and be in it. You can finally allow, your hands are finally clear to grab the next thing. You know how I said that we're like those arcade games that come in and claw and brings things down. Like that's how we really create and make things happen in our world. And that's why there's no scarcity. We're bringing from the metaphysical, bringing it to reality. And it depends on how strong our frequency is, our thoughts, on how much we can grab and bring in. Well, if this is full of stuff that you didn't want, if your claw is full, I don't care how much more stuff you try to grab, you can't get it. And a lot of times what we do is we're holding on to everything that's from our past. And we're not willing to let it go. And God's over here like a hand full of everything we want. It's like just when you're willing to let it go. And it's scary, that void, because it can feel lonely. But this is where like God also can be such a great thing to fall back on during this time. You can feel God more. You can have a stronger relationship with God during the void. If it wasn't for our struggles, a lot of times we wouldn't turn to God. It's like almost like kind of a reset too for that. Um, so so the outer world actually begins with an inner thought. Anytime that you think it isn't, take a step back, be like, where am I right now? Why is this being shown to me right now? And what am I paying attention to? What am I thinking about? Because most of us are running on autopilot. We're choosing the channels that we've been pre-programmed to choose over and over and over. We're not even thinking about it because we don't have to. We can go right to it. We don't have to go through the channels. We just go to the one we're used to. Repeating thoughts, we didn't even really choose. We just go to it because it's a pattern. We've been programmed to do that. We just keep doing it over. So they could be thoughts from parents, culture, trauma, all kinds of things. They come from everywhere. Mentalism, what it does is it helps invite us back to that power and choice for new thoughts and doing it on purpose. Mastering yourself starts with mastering your mind. People talk about mastering your emotions, which I think is important, but until you master your mind, these things are just coming in all over the place. Because the one thing that's bringing them down, you don't even have control over. So you can try to master these things all you want, but if this isn't working, you're going to have a hard time mastering your emotions. So, you guys have a piece of paper. And if you don't, just come back to this, okay? Grab a journal and a piece of paper. And I want you to write down one repeating thought that you notice. We've done this a little bit in the thought loop class too, about money, love, safety, worthiness, anything that just comes up, like maybe your biggest problem. What's coming up? What's that thought behind it? And then ask yourself, where does this come from? Is it coming from like fear, childhood, I don't know, culture, past pain? And then what fruit has this thought brought me? Because you reap what you sow. Has it created peace or has it created chaos? Does it lead you closer to God or away? Some people think that because we're getting everything we want, we're being led closer to God. And like just a second ago when I was talking to Ryan, it's it's in our suffering that we usually tend to turn to God. It's in those voids. And it's a great reset for us because we need to bring God with us into the next level, into the next station. Maybe we were starting to disconnect, and that's why we were feeling bad. So are you getting closer away? That doesn't mean you have to suffer to be close to God, by the way. Now choose a new thought that aligns. This is like our problem worksheet that we've gone through a few times. So something God would say about you. For example, like if you are saying, I'm not enough, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That is such a more powerful statement. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Money is hard. God is my provider, and I live in abundance. And make that a statement for yourself. You believe it. That's that just is. I don't accept anything else. Then write one action you can take this week to live from that new thought. Not carelessly, but with faith. Carelessly comes with hope. Faith comes with knowing. So with this thought, whatever that you guys just came up with, I want y'all to help embody it a little bit more. This new thought that can actually bring more fruit to your life, the stuff that you want. So whatever that was that you just came up with, let's take a moment. We're gonna close our eyes, we're gonna place our hands on our heart and one on our stomach. And you don't have to put it on your stomach if you don't want to, but your sacrum area. Not your sacrum, your sacral, not your back. So do that and then close your eyes. Just breathe. Feel it to be true for you. Feel your nervous system settle. And it is. You can say your new thought out loud. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. God is my provider. I live in abundance. Whatever it may be. And then when you're ready, open your eyes. Because that nervous system, your heart, how it's beating, how you're breathing, this is telling you so much about where your nervous system is. This is telling you where you are. And like, are you in a place of allowing or are you in a place of resisting? Because you're going to feel it in your body. So with the repeating thought loop, I wanted to also ask, is there anything that you guys have a question about or even want to bring up on repeating thought loops? Hi, Rick.
Hello, how are you? It's been a while. I've been here.
Yeah, it's great to see you.
Same here. Almost done with my customers. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay. You have to be really careful with these repeating thought loops too, because we can either be very powerful or very dangerous or not, or just not coming to action that we need to at all. So when you notice yourself, oh, okay, sorry, I thought I heard somebody about to say something. When you notice yourself not feeling good or feeling chaotic or having a thought that comes up, and sometimes we don't always choose our thoughts. Like when I say choose them, we do choose our thoughts, but you don't get to decide every thought that comes through your mind. Your mind will just fill in so much stuff. It's just that's the way it was made. But when it's coming through, which ones you actually entertain and act off of, that's what we can choose. So you'll have things that come up. You have opportunities for all kinds of thoughts and ways to choose. So whenever you're looking at you're doing something and you notice that you're having a hard time with something, taking a step back, go to the bathroom if you need to. Okay, take a step back and be like, what is happening right now? Take yourself back to the present or to the present. Pay attention to the sounds. Pay attention to what you're looking at. Just feel your body. Feel your breath. Feel if you're tense, and just breathe through that. Be like, what can I do right now that can make this better? How can it be any better than this? And if you don't know, just ask the question because your mind has to answer it. So start focusing by asking the right questions if you don't know what to focus on. It's about being able to train yourself to know, okay, I don't like what I'm thinking. I'm not liking which way I'm going. How can I get better than this? And soothing yourself. Be like, okay, is there anything I can do better? Is there anything I can change? If not, how can I look at this in a way that I can accept what's going on without force? By coming from a place of power and calm. Cool, calm, and collected. And then go back and face whatever you're facing. That's if you're able to do that. If you're not able to do that, breathe, pay attention to your breath, pay attention to what's going on. You don't need to react. Just pay attention and allow, because the next thing will come up that you need to do. You'll know, but you have to allow. And there's so many opportunities, there's so many things that could be happening. So this is something we can go more in depth of next week, is like really how to go more into the everyday, day to day. Like, how do you really put this in? Like when you're really, really upset, like what if something just happened to your kid? Like how are you supposed to be like, oh, let's just remain calm, like what if like somebody you love just died? Or what if like your arm just got cut off? Like there's so many instances in life that something really awful could be happening. It's like, what do I do here? Like how am I supposed to think about this? And what if like you're in a situation that you have never felt so many feelings all at the same time? It's like, but it feels like they're coming in at the same time, but they are coming in back to back to back to back to back. And you're like, I feel overloaded right now. I don't even know what to say. Like I could say I'm sad, but right now I'm angry, but the next moment I'm upset, the next moment I'm disappointed. I don't know what to say. Like, and I don't know which emotion to go to next. Like, which one am I supposed to be processing? Like this is real life stuff. Like sometimes we have things that happen that it's not so simple to be like, just change your thought, take a deep breath, it doesn't work that way, and it's in the those moments that's like knowing how to calm yourself and knowing how to handle those moments that is so important. And it doesn't mean you're going to do it every time. Even when it doesn't mean you're going to do it every time. We all have triggers. We all have challenges. We're always going to be evolving. You're never going to be there in perfection. And if you do, then you don't even have to die. You'll just transcend. And so, but not many people have done that. Like Enoch did it. I don't know. I think there was one other person that's done that. They didn't have to die. They just transcended. And so it's like, but a lot of us don't get there. But there's always something to evolve. So don't ever think that just because it seems like there's always some kind of more work to do, that just means that you're still playing the game. You still got challenges. You still got desires that are coming and bringing themselves to you. You're going to need to still experience this because in this human body, you can kiss, you can hug, you can make love, you can eat, you can have a drink, you can have all these other senses and all these other experiences you can't have without this. So it's like, enjoy it, in a healthy, faithful way, and it's amazing what you can make things happen, but also know that life has spirals. It comes in spirals. So you're gonna have this moment that you feel high and you can talk about all this stuff, and then you're gonna come down here, and this is where you actually got to put it in order in action, like in areas you didn't even know how to do that. You're like, wait, I thought I knew this, but I don't know. And then you come back up again. It's like your pencil's being sharpened down here, and then it's ready to manifest. And then down here it's dull again, it's being sharpened, it's manifest. And you go through these cycles. And it's understanding what cycle you're at so you can self-care or you can manifest whatever it is. And being understanding of these cycles and these spirals, because there's cycles to life, there's cycles to you, there's cycles to the seasons, and you can't get away from that because that's part of the coding of this world is the cycles. It's just understanding the cycles that you can work with it. We've talked about cycles too, guys, but this just knowing this too with the everything's mental, it's understanding how the things work so that you don't have to take everything personally, like you've done something wrong or you're being punished or anything like that. It's never like that. It's just a better understanding, becoming more aware so that you can enjoy where you're at instead of always thinking that needs to be something you need to be somewhere else or you need to be doing something else or whatever. It's just being present in the moment. And yeah, so that's the end of what we were going to be talking about today. But I wanted to see if you guys had any questions or anything that you wanted to add to that. And then also next week, I do want to go more in depth into this and how to set it up in like real life scenarios. So if you want to bring some of your situations to class, we can talk about that. And Rick, is there something you want to bring up right now? Okay. Yeah. It's good to see you. Yeah. So I would like to really get into the nitty-gritty of it and be like, okay, yeah, I'm going through this and like I'm trying this, but it's not working. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. That's what we're going to bring into next week because it could be very small tweaks. And like I said, your thoughts can change so fast, and that's what changes the frequency. That's what changes what you're seeing. So the moment you start second guessing yourself, the moment you think, oh no, this isn't working, the moment you think that, oh, it's going to be hard to do this, it's going to be hard to do that now. You just went into that frequency, you went into that thought pattern. And so you have to be very careful what thoughts you're entertaining and holding on to. So,
Hey, Mitch,
uh-huh.
um, I could share something that happened this week on thoughts.
I loved
Um,
it.
so one of the things that came up was I wanted to know what the word hate actually meant, like given everything that happened last week.
Mhm.
And so I did go back to the Bible to look at the very first place where it was mentioned between Cain and Abel in the original language.
Yeah.
And it actually means, I was surprised that it didn't mean what I thought it would mean. It means to love less. You're still, and I was like, less than what? Like less than, if I love someone less than who? Less than what? Less than myself? Less than the person standing next to them? Less than God? Like, what did that really mean? And I kind of sat with it for a while, and it did change how I showed up in a conflict with my husband.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Like that.
am I going to treat him like I love him less in response to how he acted in the moment? Or am I going to continue to do what I do and forgive, splitting the word up and give anyway before that moment, give to the person before in the same way that he was before the moment, like as if nothing happened, right? And then come together and talk about it when we're able to meet together and talk about it, which we did and worked out. But like my knee jerk reaction was to like not be kind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
but I stopped myself because of that definition of the word hate. If I choose to love him less in this moment, am I hating him? And it
Mhm.
really, I mean, it really changed my perspective and got me thinking. And I was able to make some conscious choices about how I was going to behave and act.
I
And
love that.
yeah,
Thank you for
So that's
sharing.
what came up.
No, I love that. Yeah. And you should post that on Facebook.
Maybe I'll think about it.
That's
But
nice.
I'll ask him first, because it did involve him. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll run it by him first because I
Yeah.
want to be respectful.
Hmm. Yeah, yes. Okay. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Sure.
So, Mitzi, I have a question. So I know we attract the frequency we are in, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I always feel that I'm blessed. So and I feel that, right? So and then things happen. But what I want to understand and how I can elevate from that feeling is like stressed out financially.
Hmm.
Even though I say I am blessed and I feel I'm blessed and everything, and I know money is coming in, it's coming from everywhere because the customers are coming to the store. God is sending me, right? It's coming. It's just the bills that I have. So like what should be my morning routine or something? Because right now, and it's been for years, the first thing my mind goes is towards, did that check cleared last night that was supposed to come? It's a negative feeling. And first thing I'm looking, opening my bank account and see what went back, not what came in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm attracting that negativity and I'm checking my account every day, first thing in the morning, and having that feeling of less. So how do I handle and elevate my feelings and my the from 0 to 600 on the upper level? So even though I know I feel blessed, and when I talk to somebody and everybody asks me how you doing, I say I'm blessed, and I know I'm blessed. But
Hmm.
it's just that frequency that I'm attracting of those bills and not making enough because probably my expenses are more than my income is.
Hmm.
I'm making more money than a lot of people that are doing it. It's not that I'm not making money. So, but again, it's just, and I know I can make more,
Hmm.
and it's abundance out there because and I was reading the other day and looking at some YouTube, and I was going through that quantum physics thing that you can collapse that time fast.
Yeah.
So like how should I be feeling and what I should be, because I know I need to change my morning routine, because the first thing I'm attracting is negativity is because oh, what happened today, like how much do I have in the account, what went back, or what is coming today, because I know I have a calendar of all the bills, like whether they are vendors or my credit card, because thing when it's right now everything is so high on the jewelry side that gold has gone up like crazy in last 1 year, almost doubled. I'm
Hmm.
at 3,600, and people income didn't went that fast, and my clientele are lower and middle class clientele, so they are the first one to get hit.
Yeah.
So because and everything, groceries has gone up, rent has gone up, everything. So like where I should be focusing on and with my mindset, and then the frequencies I should be in. So how do I start my day?
So there's so many opportunities here too. So, um, what makes you feel abundant?
What makes me feel abundant?
Mhm.
Like I have a family, I have a business, healthy kids, people love me, people respect me,
Mhm.
money's coming in. So all the things, my hands are working, I'm breathing, I'm here with you guys, with the like-minded people, that kind of, so that's all abundance for me.
So when you wake up in the morning, have a
Yeah.
journal
Okay.
that you write down in and say
Yeah.
what you're thankful for or what
Right.
makes
Yeah. I do that. I do it every night. I do
okay.
that every night. And then I say, thank you, God. And, but I'm not writing it down, but I'm on my mind. That's the first thing I say is thank you. And before I go to bed every night, but probably in the
Perfect.
morning too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Writing it down too.
Okay.
I understand. I used to just do it in my head too.
Yeah.
So I understand. Try writing it down. And then also, because it does something in the brain when we
Yeah.
write it. And
Okay.
then I do it in the morning too,
Okay.
especially in the morning.
Yeah.
And then at nighttime, you can write how you want the next day to go. Money's going to flow easily. This is sold, or this is going like this. You can start putting out what you want to see the next day from
Okay.
or what you want to accomplish, whatever. And so you're setting up your projection for the next day. And then the next morning being grateful and putting yourself in that place of abundance. And then getting up I like to put post-it notes on my mirror. So when I get up, I'm looking at those too. So I have my affirmations. So if you're thinking negative check, got to pay my bills, got to do this, then post-it notes would say something like, I am so grateful. I always have the money to pay my bills. I am so grateful that I'm able to go out to eat. I'm so great, whatever it is, even if it's a small thing, or even less than what you're used to having at the time, you still could do this. Be like, I am so grateful that money comes to me easily and comes to me in ways that are unexpected. You put all that on the mirror. And then the other part of it is like understanding like um, where you may be trying to hold on to more than you should be, what you don't have control over. And so, whatever you don't have control over, it's being real with it and saying, can I control this right now? What part of the whole cycle can I actually control? Because if a check got bounced, I mean, what are you going to do in the morning about it?
Nothing. It's already went back.
Yeah, so it's like it is what it is. But it just sets you up for like, dang, it got bounced. What am I going to do now? Like you don't want to stick your head in the sand, but you definitely don't want to just be watching the news
Yeah. Okay.
the whole time. Um, it's like stop checking in the morning, that kind of stuff. Maybe have a certain time or even once a week that you check certain things. Because if there's nothing you can do in between that time, you don't have to check it every day,
Yeah.
unless there is something you can do.
Right.
I don't
So
check my mail every day.
yeah. No, because for the business part of it, I have to check every day because the checks are coming every day.
Okay.
I'm depositing the sales every day.
Mhm.
Those kind of things. Sometimes I know I have a check coming in. I went in there, and then all of a sudden at 7:30 I had a sale. I didn't have the funds in there to cover that at the night, but then I had a sale at 7:30. So I'm going back again at 8 o'clock and depositing through the ATM to
Mm,
clear it. So I know it so they can clear those
okay,
kind of things.
that makes sense.
That's the reason I'm checking it multiple times a day.
Okay. So besides that, because if you need to do that, do it. Um, the other part is asking, and I would be asking, what is it that I'm not seeing? What opportunity is here that I'm not seeing? Because
Yeah.
anytime there's a problem, there's a
Mhm.
place to adapt and an
Right.
opportunity. Because sometimes we're looking at the problem, we're not seeing the solution.
Right.
It's like there's a huge solution. Maybe it's creating some kind of jewelry, like, I don't know, for the middle class, or maybe now you're going to shift to a wealthier class, or you're going to make you're going to find people off TikTok that make specific kind of engagement and wedding rings. And you help them be something at in your store. And
Right.
or these are just opportunities. I'm just
Right.
saying
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so
Just
many,
getting ideas.
yeah, because it may be like, hey, it's not about wishing and hoping, and because it's not about hope, it's about faith. But maybe you're being directed in certain areas, like just keeping the mind open and the inspired action of like what maybe happened. Say, ask God, like, is there something that you can show me something today, or show me what I could be doing to make this better.
Okay.
should i should I be changing anything in my business? And if it is, please show it to me. And
Yeah.
then have that start happening, because it's during these times that everybody else is hurting, that when you get creative, you may get down to something.
Okay. Yeah. And
Rick,
then, yes, sir.
sorry, there's two things I've done with my business because I'm
Uh-huh.
kind of the same way. I
Mm.
put alerts on my check on my checking account
Mm-hmm.
that will come to my phone. If it gets below a certain amount, then I get an alert.
Okay.
Like this morning, I got an alert that it was below, but literally I thought I was negative last night. And
Okay.
I do have some money.
Right.
And then I started carrying around a $50 silver piece.
Uh-huh.
It's in my pocket. I carry it in my left pocket. I
Mm-hmm.
pull it out and I look at it and go, opportunities are everywhere and there's money for them.
Yeah.
And I'm literally getting to buy a piece of Forever Land right now. So I started that.
Yeah.
And I had no clue how I was going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's having something that makes you feel abundant.
Yeah.
So like if it's sometimes it's a watch for somebody. It's it just depends on what makes you feel wealthy. And I know that that's just a physical thing, but physical things do give us feelings.
Yeah. True.
And if it could help bring you something like whatever you own that makes you feel abundant, wealthy, or whatever, if you can carry that with you or pay more attention to it, like
Mhm.
Ryan just said, I think that's thank you, Ryan, for mentioning that.
Thank
For
you. Yeah. Okay.
You're welcome.
Got it. Yeah.
there was this girl, I follow a lot of these people. I'm gonna see if I can find her name so y'all could. She's only like 26, but she's doing a really great job in what she's doing. If I don't find her right here, I'll give her y'all her information next time. But what she did is she was broke, but she had gotten $20,000 for something. She was a student and she got $20,000. She took all 20,000. This is not telling y'all to do this, okay? But she took the $20,000 and then she lived it up for a month in like Los Angeles or something. Lived like she was super wealthy for that off that 20,000 that month. She said she came back broke and was like, I can't settle for anything less than that now. And started working on e-commerce stuff. And within her first month, she made 30,000. And this was not knowing anything about it, nothing. It was her mindset more than anything, guys. Some people would be like, well, e-commerce never worked for me, or real estate never worked for me, and this never worked for me. Your mindset really does do a huge thing on whether or not you're successful in whatever you do. So she just had the mindset she wasn't going to be anything but successful. She was like, I already know what it tastes like. I can't have anything else. So she said she made 30,000 the first month, and then the next month she made 100,000. The next month she made over 100,000, and she just kept on until she was making over 300,000 a month. And within 19 months, she's a multimillionaire. And at 26 years old, with the same mindset of I'm going to have it. But the first thing that she did to shift her mindset was to live that way. And I understand, like, y'all probably have had moments that y'all live that way and all that. But if you can come back to that thought pattern of how it felt and then being like, I'm not going to settle for anything less. My standards are here. This is where I'm setting my thermostat now. And you really have to set your thermostat, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going for anything less than this. And then you'll kick on, like just like your thermostat does when it goes under, you'll kick on and be like, okay. And you'll start having inspired action coming to you. And you have to really pay attention to that inspired action. Don't think that you are the one with all the answers. If you were, then you wouldn't be in your problem.
Okay.
So it's like, be receptive of that.
Say
But
it again. Say it again, what you just said.
I don't think you're the one with all the answers, because if that was true, then you wouldn't have that problem.
Yeah.
So it's going to come outside of you, come outside. And then just you have to pay attention to it. And you can think all you want, but your thoughts have always are where you already are, So the thinking's not going to get you there. It's going to be choosing the different thoughts and then being open for that inspired action, being open for the new idea and watching for it and knowing it's going to come to you with faith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's so much abundance.
Right.
And-
There is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
then sometimes
Go ahead. Rick.
I'm thinking of it is should I diversify, because I want to go into real estate. Like I would like mentioned to you before also. I have done deals in the past. It's not that I have not done it, but then for the last 4 years I have not done anything. And so then I say, but and then I do have an insurance license. So and I'm thinking of it, I trying to chase three rabbits? So I have not done anything on the insurance side, but I want to do something in the real estate side of it so I can balance my jewelry part of it, because it's luxury, it's not necessity. And then when the things goes up and down, we are the first one to get hit by it, right? So I want to, that's why my goal for the real estate is that I can get, and I know there's cycle in real estate also, but my goal is to make some fast money wholesaling it, and then get some property so that I have an income coming in from there, and then it's just balancing it out kind of thing. That's what my goal was.
So the thing that I've noticed, and thank you for sharing that, is that if you're chasing money, you'll always be a little bit away from it.
Okay.
So like you don't want to do it for the money. You want to do it for the value you're bringing.
Okay.
That's the right place to come from. Because like I see people, I have students all the time in real estate, and when they're only chasing the money, they're the least successful ones. The ones that actually come up with a way to provide value to people are the ones that stay successful.
Okay.
Create the systems, and they want the team. They're providing value to a team. They're providing value in one way or another. So, what is it that you enjoy doing? What if you were to do real estate? What would you enjoy offering to somebody? Like I started doing mobile homes because of the affordable housing side of it, and the notes that I could create investors. I could turn average Joes into better investors easier, and so I found that value, and I get excited about that. So me talking about that allows other people to get excited about that and brings people in. So it's like your energy is what brings the people in. And you can have a good deal here and there, but you're always going to be chasing if that's what you're going after.
Right. Correct.
And so it's like what do you want to offer people? And then also the jewelry thing. I don't know if you've seen this one. Her name's Claire or something. I can when I get that ad, I'll show it to you. But you can get 3 pieces of jewelry right now for like $85, and it's all made with real gold, or it's
Mhm.
gold plated. And she put this package together, and she's been putting it online as a way to bring more people in, because she's probably hurting like you, like other
Yeah. Yeah.
she came up with this idea, and now she's doing that, and she's all over the place. And I'm even like, oh, I want some of this jewelry because it's pretty. And she's like, you can be out in the ocean and it's not going to rust. And that's what she's doing it more of, is like the island babes. If you're going to the beach, like this is finally jewelry that doesn't rust out in the ocean. And so she found a little niche. So it's like, where can you be different? Even in real estate, jewelry, whatever it is, it's like sometimes we're calling to get to a higher level of like providing more value in one way or another. Like, how could you provide more value? Even
Yeah.
even with just what you're doing. What is it that the people at your demographic, what is it they were wanting in jewelry? Maybe
Right.
they would feel wealthy.
Yeah.
Bring more wealth by feeling wealthy. If you buy this, you get a gold bracelet, only $20, but who knows that? Nobody needs
Right.
to. And like you can, whatever it is, but you can play on that and see. That's just some ideas, but there's and this could be a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
Every time I hear a problem, that's exactly where my mind goes. Huge
Yeah.
opportunity.
Right. True. True. Okay. Yeah, it's just the mindset.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. Well, anything else, guys?
I think that's it for right now. Thank you.
Okay, and then next week we can go more into depth on all of this stuff. So if you have anything that comes up through the week, let's talk.
Okay.
I'll see you guys
Perfect.
next week.